Hello, everyone. We are going to spend the next few days studying the Old Testament book of 1 Kings. Today, we are in chapter 3, verses 1 through 15. The first two chapters of this book read more like something you would find in Game of Thrones than something you would expect to find in the Bible. There's lots of revenge, there's lots of murder, there's lots of concern that someone might be a threat to the throne, therefore more murder. It seems that this is not a book about God all of a sudden, and in fact, it probably isn't in that moment. It is a study of people. But in chapter 3, God appears. Solomon is the first king following David. He was born of Bathsheba, her second child to David, the first one being the child that was the result of his adultery, and that child perished. But now Solomon is king. And God will appear to Solomon 3 times during the course of his reign. He reigns for 40 years, and the first 11 chapters of 1 Kings covers that reign. And this is the first appearance. God comes to Solomon in a dream and says, "Hey, you are David's son, and I know that you love me. What do you want from me to be a successful king?" Now, Solomon could have asked for anything. But here's what he says, beginning at verse 7. "Now, O Lord my God, you have made me king instead of my father David. But I am like a little child who does not know his way around. And here I am in the midst of your chosen people, a nation so great and numerous they cannot be counted. Give me an understanding heart so that I can govern your people well and know the difference between right and wrong. For who by himself is able to govern this great people of yours?" There are a couple of things worth pointing out here. Solomon presents himself to God with humility. He describes himself as a little child who does not know his way around. Now Solomon is an adult. It turns out, as we read further, we discover he's already married and had children. So it's not him literally saying that he's young and naive. It is him admitting that he is now taking on a task that is far more daunting than he could have imagined. He is king of Israel, God's chosen people. And so, what does he ask for? Does he ask for power? Does he ask for the ability to wipe out his enemies, to continue to defend his throne? No, he asks for understanding. Understanding is really the focal point of what I want us to hear in this. He says in this understanding that he wants to be able to know the difference between right and wrong, but what he's really asking for is the wisdom that goes behind it. We live in a society right now that cares a lot about information, and with that information trying to judge the difference between right and wrong. It is important to understand that, but it is the understanding part that Solomon is praying for, the wisdom. We tend to want to know the difference between right and wrong so that we can skate right up to the edge of right and just barely be right so long as it suits our own advantage. That's the only reason we want to know where, if we cross the line, now we're wrong, and that's no good. Solomon is asking for wisdom. Wisdom to actually understand why things are right and wrong, and in that wisdom, know the effects of our actions. I recently heard a sermon from Andy Stanley that we'll provide a link for at the end of this video, where he discusses this matter, that it's not about right and wrong, it is about wisdom. And when we ask ourselves the question in a situation, not the right thing to do, but rather, what is the wise thing to do? We realize that question can save us from a whole lot of drama. Indeed, God is pleased with Solomon as he asks this favor of him. And God says, not only am I going to grant you your request for wisdom, I am also going to offer you success and prosperity, so long as you remain faithful to me. Well, we were going to spend a little bit more time in Solomon's life, and we're going to see that Solomon regretfully does not live up to that obligation, and there's consequences that go with it. But for now, I just want us to walk away with this concept, that right and wrong, there's something that lies behind that, and that's what we should be praying into, wisdom. what is the wise thing to do. And as we seek wisdom in light of God's presence in our lives, we will move through and make choices that give glory to God. And so, may you go and be wise today, giving God glory and spreading peace and love in everything that you do. Have a great day, everyone. If these devotional videos are helpful to you, subscribe to our channel and click the notification button so you know when we post a new video. And of course, please share them with others.